Hi, Luciano. I am talking directly from Christchurch, New Zealand, and I really need your help. I have been in New Zealand for more than 3 years, and I believe I can communicate myself. I even consider myself as a bilingual, as I don't translate in my head Portuguese to English, and I think in English, I dream in English. However, I'm sure I have a lot to improve. Grammatically, I know I do a lot of mistakes when I'm speaking and when I'm writing. Also, there are many subjects that I know I cannot express myself as I can in Portuguese. And more than that, I know that there are a lot of words that I believe I'm saying correctly, but they're just the way I do speak. So I need to work on my accent and the pronunciation as well. So, what would you recommend to me to improve my English and live a better life here in New Zealand? Bye.
Hello, Carol. Hello, Carol. How are you doing? Very nice talking to you again. It's always great to see you around. Well, we have the perfect course for your case, which is, believe it or not, very common. Students who have reached a certain level of communication, a certain level of fluency, and independence in the language, especially people who live abroad. They tend to, at a certain point, feel kind of stuck to a plateau of communication that you described very well. This idea of being able to communicate, but not so well as you wish, and which is fine up to a certain point, but then it really bugs you, right? I know what you're talking about exactly. Well, there is always room for improvement, you know. So, but at the same time, it feels horrible. The very thought of coming back to school, you know, sitting down with other people and following material, or enroll in the school and in the school again. It's like, oh my God, it's never gonna end, and it's gonna be the same every time, you know. So because of that, we thought of a course that doesn't feel like a course really, because it we share the responsibilities with the students. You know, the success of the course depends a lot on what they do, and if they don't, well, they will have to do from now on when they enroll in a course like that. I'm talking about the experience chat. The experience chat is a course that we have the classes or the meetings, um, so to speak. So it's just kind of the practice part of a whole process. The whole process is, the first part is exposure. First of all, you have to be exposed to the language, which in your case is not a big deal because you are surrounded by English 24/7, right? So, uh, but so language is all around you all the time. You are exposed to it, which means that your receptive skills tend to be more developed, right? So listening and reading, they tend to be more developed because of all that, which is only natural. Right. But it also has limit, because if you don't work on the contents, and if you don't brush up vocabulary, for example, if you don't improve your grammar knowledge as well, the limit in which you can understand is pretty sad. So probably you are reaching that level right now. So anyways, this first part is exposure, and then we propose certain exercises, certain steps that you should follow in order to improve listening skills and reading skills. And we work on two different levels. So listening for gist, or reading for gist, and listening for specific or reading for specific. So we propose different approaches or different exercises to develop these abilities in these two different levels, right? And here I'm not up to this point. I'm not talking about language. I'm not talking about content. I'm just talking about abilities. So use what you have already learned in order to be a better listener, be a better reader. Right. Then we move on to the language step, which the first one is noticing. Of course, at that phase in your life, in terms of English learning, you are pretty much able to identify language items that you are supposed to know. You know, maybe not necessarily a new one, a new item, but a topic that you see as like, yes, I should learn, I should know how to use this because I've seen this so many times and I'm still not confident to use it. Right, so this part is very, very important. So you have to notice because you are in a way selecting what to learn, right? Right, and then you have to analyze to do the analysis of that. We help you through this process as well. So let's say that it's a grammar topic. Okay, let's talk about this grammar topic. It's perhaps it is a grammar class, but it's an oral one in which we guide you through it. Actually, you're gonna do it on your own, and then we're gonna help you actually make sense of all of that. Right, and then um, after all these analysis, it's time for practicing. So the practice has a lot of phases, and you can start with like we can give you or suggest specific pieces of material here and there in order to consolidate certain piece of language that you are studying. Right, but then this is not enough. We get to the point that you are supposed to create ideas with this topic. So this item of grammar or vocabulary, whatever it is, we expect you to bring this new item to your real life. So what I'm describing here is the English diet. All right, that's exactly the rationale behind the English diet. But then you're gonna do this on your own because you are an independent student already. So we go with in other courses we have to go and follow students and support students in every single step of this journey. In your case, not so much. We don't need to, and that it's not even advisable to do so. Anyways, and then you get to this point that you need to create with that new language that you are studying. And but then this kind of creation is not. It has to be true. It has to be meaningful. It has to make sense to you, and you have to see yourself using it. Actually, you are already using it when you create it. If you find it difficult, if you don't really think of a good reason to use that kind of language, guess what? You're not gonna learn it. If you think about it, that's what we do in Portuguese, even, right? There are certain words or vocabulary in general that I don't use because I don't make sense of it, or I don't. It's a matter of choice, preference, or even interest. For example, if you ask me questions, specific questions about I don't know mechanics, I would have lots of trouble, to use them because it doesn't take my fancy. So it's exactly what's going to happen in any other language, right? So once you have created an idea that is true, is meaningful for you, and you see yourself using it, you take it for you, right? So this is yours now. So that's a great way to brush up vocabulary, to learn a lot, to feel more confident about the new things that you are learning. In one way or another, that's how we work in the school in all the other courses, right? Depending on the level, so we have all adaptations, regarding the levels. Um, right. And you mentioned accent and pronunciation, right? Well, when it comes to accent and versus pronunciation, there's a huge debate on that, right? And one thing is pronunciation, another thing is accent. So we we have nothing against having an accent, but there is one thing that is undeniable, which is how we think thoughts in our mother tongue really takes the toll here. So even though you can have no accent whatsoever or perfect pronunciation of things, but the way you think things will tell that you are not a native speaker, which is not a bad thing at all, of course. So it's not a huge concern for us, the accent thing, as long as everybody can understand you. Our main concern is pronunciation, right? So um, it's always good to pay attention to actually basic sounds. You know, that ed sound, being sure that you're pronouncing those little things. So you actually have to enjoy speaking the language, right? So when see, I'm not talking about difficult words or very advanced words. I'm talking about simple ones but very well pronounced. That makes a lot of difference in somebody else's ears. uh, so yeah, we all, of course, we have to correct you on pronunciation at all times, and have some sort of guidance, give you some guidance in terms of how to weaken your accent. But when it comes to this um, general sound of it, that may or not uh, be a problem for the listener, especially the native ones, right? Experience chat. You feel free. We use a lot of things from your real life. Material can be used depending on the case, because after a while, perhaps we reach an agreement that we should adopt certain material, right? And there's a lot of really good material for advanced levels as well. And yeah, I think Experience Chat is your course.